We are going to get started here in just a few minutes. If we have any elected officials in the room, we'd really appreciate you coming up front, standing with us. And all those of you who are here, we want to say thank you sincerely for joining us today. And welcome to the Jobs for Minnesotans We Support Mining Rally. We are here at the deck in Duluth, Minnesota, and it precedes an important hearing on something that is confronting our state, which is the ultimate withdrawal of our future mining opportunities in a major swath of the most mineral-rich area of our state. My name is Nancy Knorr. I'm the chair of Jobs for Minnesotans. I'm also the director of regional development for Minnesota Power, and it is my absolute pleasure to be here. Jobs for Minnesotans is a coalition representing labor, business, and communities. And with us is labor. There are 55,000 members of the Minnesota building trades, people who make their living building and maintaining our infrastructure, industries, businesses, and homes. And we have business well represented. They drive our economy. The Minnesota Chamber, a founding member of Jobs, representing over 2,300 businesses that employ over 500,000 people throughout our state. And then there are communities, the real voices of the people, and they, in turn, who are here with us, represent thousands of people who live in the region where these decisions will impact them the most. And we all believe Minnesota is a mining center of excellence, and we can do this right, and we have for decades. So I want to acknowledge that although we have many leaders in this room, I am standing with some of our most passionate, and some of them would like to share a few words with you today. So I'm introducing you now to Craig Olson. He is the president of the Duluth Building and Construction Trade Council. Craig?
Thank you, Nancy, and I'm also a proud member of Jobs for Minnesotans, and that's what it's all about, jobs. First of all, I would like to, as president of the Duluth Building Trades, we're representing about 6,000 men and women that work in the construction industry in the region. And many of them are here in the room, hard hats, vests. Thank you all for coming out today. A lot of them probably took off work early to be here for this press conference, so thank you. I'm here to speak against the U.S. Forest Service and the U.S. Bureau of Land Management's proposal to withdraw federal land and minerals in northeastern Minnesota from future leasing, exploration, and potential development. If enacted, the withdrawal proposal would have a devastating impact on not only the region's economy, but the working families in the communities of northeastern Minnesota. Northeastern Minnesota has the potential to be the global powerhouse for strategic metals. This region has the largest known undeveloped deposit of strategic metals in the world. This is a tremendous opportunity, but the withdrawal proposal risks the future of our jobs for our members. Our members depend on these jobs to put food on their table, provide educational opportunities for their kids, and build good careers. This withdrawal would represent a loss of $1.5 billion in annual wages and more than $2.5 billion in annual economic production based on studies conducted by the University of Minnesota Duluth. Thank you.
So we've heard about jobs and we've heard about the billions of revenue potential there, and now we want to hear from Mike Forsman. He is our very familiar and now retired St. Louis County Commissioner and an Up North Jobs board member. And we're talking ground zero, Mike. Welcome to the rally.
First of all, thank you for having me, and I'm retired, so I really don't have to say anything. But the truth is, our community, and I've lived in the city of Ely for nearly 70 years, and I've watched our community deteriorate from the vibrant community that it once was. The tourism is not bringing the jobs back. The jobs that we knew as growing up in that community, they were related to the mining. We had 3 mines right within the community when I grew up. The streets were full of people, summer and winter. Now we're lucky if on the 4th of July you can bowl sometimes down the street and not hit anybody there and stuff. Our community truly needs these jobs that are out there, but it isn't just the jobs. This is about the strategic metals that are needed in our nation. We're buying metals from nations that hate us. We're buying things that we need for all of those things that make our lives better, whether they be catalytic converters, whether they be the cell phones in our pocket, our computers, etc. Those strategic metals are coming from people that hate us right now. Many of them, some people like us. But the bottom line is that this is about strategic in the United States of America, and it is about the Iron Range. And the Iron Range, as Tommy Commissioner Ruckavina says many times that we've got 130 some years of mining on the Iron Range. And look at our lakes, look at our region, look at our forests. And when you look at all of them, we have some of the finest, after 130 years of mining, we have some of the finest looking forests, some of the finest looking lakes, and some of those lakes, those clear water lakes with trout in them, they used to be mining pits. The bottom line is we are doing things right, and we will continue to do things right. This state makes sure that anyone coming into the state and does business in it, that they do it right. And as the years go by, technology, all of those things make it better for all of us. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And yes, this is a very broad swath of acreage, and it indeed reaches over to Babbitt. And I want to welcome a Washington, D.C. warrior who's been out there with me wearing off our shoe leather, Mayor Andrea Zupancic from Babbitt. Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. You're not kidding about the shoe leather. I think it was more my feet. But I'm Andrea Zupancic, the mayor of the city of Babbitt. And excuse me, our town is a member of the Range Association of Municipalities and Schools, RAMS for short. RAMS represents more than 72,000 residents in 47 public sector units of government, including 23 cities, 15 public school districts, and 9 townships in the 13,000 square mile in the Taconite Assistant area of northeast Minnesota. As a city, we recognize that RAMS is a very powerful entity due to the vast coverage of citizens, 72,000, and that's 72,000 people that they are also representing. That's a big number. RAMS board unanimously passed a resolution urging to withdraw and, excuse me, I'm getting a cold, and provide a strong message on that resolution. But I won't drink your water.
It's not, it's fresh.
Oh, is it? Okay, thanks. Sorry about that. This issue is also bipartisan, though. It has support across the Minnesota Iron Range and 50 additional state legislators. Think of that large number of constituents that is being represented by all those representatives, and it's 2/3 of our citizens on the Iron Range that oppose this withdrawal. For the future of our communities, we cannot reject responsible development without reason or cause. We can have responsible mining and clean environment just as we've done for decades, as everyone has already noted so far. So now this withdrawal is strongly opposed by the entire Minnesota Iron Range legislative delegation of over 50 Minnesota state legislators. Now, if you guys know where the mining is proposed to be withdrawn from, you'll see that Babbitt is right in the middle of it. And the only thing I can say right now is that for Babbitt, this could be a possible death sentence. We are a small mining town. We've had one manufacturer in our town. They closed up. We lost lots of jobs then, and we don't have tourism. We are strictly mining. So the mining has supported our town, and they're always there, ready to help our schools, our festivals. They do scholarships. We're not really getting that from anywhere else. So if this does happen, we could very well be losing our town. It's already half of what it was back, many years ago. We don't have kids running down the streets like we used to. We used to have 3 schools. We have 1 K through 12 now. So my goal is to see that our town grows, and for the business stake, as also for the citizens in our town. So thank you.
And one of our most respected leaders in our county, Commissioner Keith Nelson. Keith?
Good afternoon. You know, it's really concerning to me. Some of our state and federal leaders, they're quick to find my office when they think I'm lockstep with their views. Very quick to find my office. St. Louis County Commissioners represent nearly 29,000 people. And on behalf of those 29,000 people, to those federal and state officials who chose not to find the offices of myself and all of those other local elected officials, be it mayors, city councilors, my fellow commissioners, township supervisors. Again, they always find our offices when they believe we're lockstep. No one can mine better than the people of northeastern Minnesota. Folks, it's not guesswork. We've been doing it for an awfully long time. Our track record is proven. This is not guesswork. But again, I come here again today. It feels like going to an Iron Range funeral, folks, because I get to see all my friends. Because the rest of the time, we're all working hard. So when we get together, those are some of the occasions, those weddings, those funerals, those other special occasions. Well, folks, if anyone thinks that this is an Iron Range funeral here today, they're confused. The people that are here today are not going away. Fighting for our future is becoming a career for some of us. It truly is. But the fact of the matter is that our fathers and our grandfathers, they fought for this area too. They did it differently. But they fought and scratched and grubbed for this area. And we need to continue that tradition. I would be remiss if I did not make one statement, and because this is a statement that it's tremendously personal to me. I hear this statement that somehow that my friends in the construction trades are temporary jobs. Folks, they work at temporary locations, but they are not temporary jobs.
And you know, I think that last big fight was probably when the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness was formed. And we are talking about lands well outside of that area. And I'm going to close now with my colleague and good friend, Julianne Manion, Principal Environmental Engineer at FOTH, and also a member of the Duluth Area Chamber of Commerce Executive Committee. Julianne.
Thank you. Talk about getting cut up at the pass. Talk about being found guilty until proven innocent. Talk about putting the cart before the horse. We don't even have a horse. In the waning days of the previous administration, I heard these words everywhere after I learned about the federal government's proposed 20-year withdrawal of federal minerals on the Superior National Forest within the Rainy River watershed. This action smacks of predetermination and a lack of confidence in the federal government's own ability to respond to a real project. If you live in the United States like we do, one equates fairness with justice and laws. In all fairness, the BWCA Wilderness Act of 1978 was a major source of controversy and debate. In all fairness, mining is prohibited within the BWCA. In all fairness, it is specifically allowed outside of the BWCA. A deal is a deal. There is an inherent unfairness when you suddenly change the rules of the game in the middle of the action. Now, if you don't like the rules, work to change them. Otherwise, it is our collective responsibility to make sure that we all follow the rules. Despite what some may believe, the National Environmental Policy Act is not solely to protect the environment. The language of NEPA explicitly acknowledges that it is the duty of the federal government to attain the widest range of beneficial uses of the environment and to achieve a balance between population and resource use, which will promote high standards of living and a wide sharing of life's amenities. Full disclosure, I am not that good of a writer. That is a direct quote from Section 101 of the National Environmental Policy Act. Without a real project or proposal, the EIS effort that the U.S. and the BLM, U.S. Forest Service and the BLM are embarking upon is at best a waste of time. This EIS effort is going to lead to a lot of stress and confusion. I imagine their public meetings going something like this. Hi, I'm the mayor from an Iron Range community. How will your proposed action affect poverty levels and associated societal ills like homelessness, substance abuse, and hunger in my community? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know, but we'll study it. I own a cabin on Birch Lake and want to know about potential noise levels and air quality impacts. Well, we can't really give you an answer. It could be bad, it could be good. We don't really know, but we will study it. I hear that the northern long-eared bat is in trouble. How could this species be affected? Haven't got a clue, but we'll study it. Remember, everyone, April is tax time. Get your checks in the mail. As you can imagine, it is going to take a lot of money for us to keep studying this and continue to not answer your questions. If you think the federal government's proposed mineral withdrawal and publicity have not already caused significant damage to our state, you are kidding yourself. I attend and participate in mining conferences across the country, and the companies I talk to say they are putting their plans on indefinite hold or scrapping them altogether. Let's use this as a window of opportunity to optimize and produce as much value with our talented and skilled Minnesota workforce and our precious natural resources. NEPA is about balance, making the best decision about the environment and the health and welfare of man. I often wonder if the folks who work for the people that own lodges, restaurants, and canoe outfitters have the wherewithal to send their kids to college. I know a lot of miners who do. Take heart. All is not gloom and doom. I've always believed that the lack of fairness from an opponent is a sign of weakness. I sense a lack of fairness and I sense weakness. I sense and feel the strength in this room. We need to stay strong, be fierce, engage, and insist that our voices be heard. I am asking you to open your mind to everything this federal mineral withdrawal would do to our state, and then open your mouth. Thank you.
All right, I have to lower this microphone just a little bit. We are closing with a comment from our Senator, David Tombrosi, who, like many, many others who wanted to be with us today, is working. He's in St. Paul, and as the ranking minority member of the Senate Environment and Natural Resources Finance Committee, has a little bit of experience with this issue. And so let me read and perhaps excerpt some of David's comments. Today's meeting and rally is a signal to the U.S. Forest Service and BLM that Iron Rangers won't sit idly by as the federal government attempts to withdraw the lifeblood of the people of northern Minnesota. The proposal to withdraw this land from mineral exploration and mining development will kill off real economic development and the minerals our country needs for its national defense. Exploration and the scientific development of new technologies have always been part of the American way. It's how our country has grown economically, and it's how our country has developed the best environmental practices in the world while promoting good jobs for our people. This arbitrary withdrawal has, for no reasonable scientific explanation and no project proposal to base the decision on, is unfair to our people, our region, and America's national interests. He calls upon the Forest Service to reverse its decision and let mineral exploration continue. I'm going to close there because I want to be sure that we allow anyone here that has joined us from the media. We appreciate that. We know you have a lot of demands on your time today. If you do have any questions for any of the speakers or frankly any of our supporters and leaders here today, we certainly want to give you that opportunity. And if not, we want to thank you for being with us. Thank you, everyone.